we have such a default towards problem solving and kind of a top down that I often ask leaders that I'm working with when they're trying to empower their team more, because it often starts with, well, I'm going to have a meeting and I'm going to tell people what I want and I'm going to lay out all of our values, and I'm like, well, what if you allowed the team to define things a little bit more?
Yeah,
What would that be like, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think the challenge with that is that, sometimes there's clarity in when you are making the decision, because you have the 5 steps. This is what I think we should do. This is how we're going to go about it. But the
Yeah.
co-creation in itself is a very messy process.
Mm.
It takes time, it takes effort, and sometimes, it's necessary for us to be able to do it. And there's great value in doing it. But it's how do we set out that time to be able to find space where we co-create. And part of what we are encouraging is that even having representation at all levels would allow that there are voices that are being heard at all levels. So it's not a one-off thing where it's only when there's an emergency that you are trying to
Mm.
rally people together. But if a system is built where you're constantly receiving feedback, you won't need to have to make that decision at the top, because you have built a system that allows for that. Um, so that's the thinking, is that if the work is done ahead and
Yeah.
done in a way where this is even part of how you're receiving feedback, this is how you're integrated, you won't have to wait until when there's a big emergency and then you're trying to now get feedback from everyone.